Welcome to our crochet kit pattern tutorial. Today we're going to be showing you the tricky parts of the M. Richard the Whale pattern, which is a free pattern that was designed by Stacy Trock and through the Martingale Company. So normally I try to show the entirety of the pattern. This time we're not going to be able to do that because this pattern is rather extensive. So I'm going to show you how to make the fins, how to make the tail, and to show you the ins and outs of increasing and decreasing. To do this pattern, you can stop by the Spring Branch Memorial Library and pick up your supplies while the supplies last, or you can get the supplies yourself and print off the attached pattern. So what you're going to need today are the yarn, a cotton yarn, worsted weight, a yarn needle, a crochet hook size H or 5.00 millimeters, scissors, safety eyes, and stuffing. Let's get started. So we're going to get started by making the fins. So make your slip knot, slide your hook in, and then we're going to chain 2, 1, 2. And we're actually going to single crochet 6 in the second chain from the hook. So we're going to single crochet 6 into this loop. So we're going to go in there. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now we are going to single crochet in each of these single crochets that we made for row 2. So we're going to, and it's in the back loop. Everything we're doing today is going to be in the back loop. So you don't go under, you go into and only do the back loop only. So for an example, this is the front loop and this is the back loop. We're only going to be going under right here. Instead of going under here, we're going to be doing here. That's very common in amigurumi or softies. So we're going to go ahead and do a 6 all the way around. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now something I forgot to mention, since we are working in rounds, and there are a lot of rounds, we're talking over 60 rounds here, you're going to want to have stitch markers and use them prodigiously and count ever so carefully because you'll get thrown off. Alright, so now that we've done our round 2 by single crocheting into each stitch, now we're going to single crochet 2 times into each stitch, so we're going to increase it to 12. So 1 into the first stitch and then 2 into the first stitch. And we're going to do that all the way around, 2 into each single crochet. 1 and 2. Try and do this tightly if you can. If you can't, that's okay. So 1, 2. So I just did 6, I'm pretty sure. See, this is what I mean by counting. I was talking instead of counting. Yes, I did 6. 7, 8, 9, and 10, And then lastly, 11 and 12. So that's 12. So now we're going to do rounds 4 through 7 is we're just going to do 12 more all the way around. So we have to do 4, 5, 6, 7, 4 rows of 12 all the way around. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So we're going to do that 3 more times, and then we'll have our fin. So I'm going to leave and come back, and in a minute I'll be done with this fin. Alright, so I've just completed my 12th stitch, and as you can see my stitches weren't as tight as they should have been throughout this fin, so please do better than me and make sure that your stitches are fairly tight. We are actually going to then just fasten off, and what that means is we're going to leave a long tail. So I left a really long tail, and then we're going to take it and pull it tight. So we've got that done. So that's one fin. So you're going to make another one. Again, make sure that yours looks better than mine by making sure your stitches are tight. But now let's start on the tail. So for the tail we're going to make 2 flukes, which is what 1/2 of a whale's tail is called. So again, we're going to make our slip knot, and we're going to chain 2. So we're going to again do 6 single crochets into the single chain from the hook. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And for those of you who crochet, just know that crocheting away from your body is actually a difficult skill to learn. And I am still perfecting that skill. So just know if my hands start drifting this way, it's because I'm not used to crocheting away from my body. When I crochet at home, I typically crochet very, very close to my body. And yes, that is a skill that I'm still mastering. I'm trying very hard, which is part of the reason why I have the fuzzy blanket on, because it helps remind me to keep my hands in the frame of the video. Alright, so now that we have our 6 single crochets in that one chain, we're actually going to crochet 6 all the way around. And remember, try and keep your stitches tight. And back loop only, just like the fin. Five and 6. Alright, so now that we have 6 done, we're actually going to do the same thing as we did in the fin and single crochet in each. Single crochet 2 stitches in each all the way around. So that's 1, 2, 3, and 4 go into the same stitch. 5 and 6 go in the same stitch. 7 and 8 go into the same stitch. 9 and 10, same stitch. And then lastly, 11 and 12. Okay. So now we have our rather goofy looking at 12 done. So now we're going to crochet 12 into one single crochet in each stitch around, just like we did with the fin, but this time we're only doing it for one row. So again, try and keep your stitches fairly tight. I will say if you're having a hard time keeping them tight, it is go down to a size G hook. If you think that there's too many holes in your thing, definitely do that. And I didn't count again, so 3. I went back and looked. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. All right, so our next round is we're actually doing a single crochet in 2 single crochets in the next stitch, and then 1 single crochet in the stitch after that. So it's 2 in one stitch, 1 in the next stitch, 2 in one stitch, 1 in the next stitch. So you should end up with 18 total stitches. Right, so that's how this goes. And so we're increasing some more. So it's 1, and then 2, then 1 in the next stitch, so that's 3, then 4, 5 in one stitch in the next stitch, then 6 in a stitch by itself, 7, 8, and then 9 in a stitch by itself. So every third stitch should be in a stitch by itself. So 10 and 11, and then 12 in a stitch by itself, 13, 14, 15 by itself, 16, 17, and then 18 by itself. All right, so now we're going to, for rows 6, 7, 8, so in the next 3 rounds, we're going to single crochet in each stitch. And then we're going to fasten off for the first fluke, which is this one, and then we're not going to fasten off for the second fluke. All right, so we'll go ahead and I will come back when I have 2 flukes done, and I will show you how to join the flukes and get started on the body of your whale. All right, so now I have my 2 flukes and I have not fastened off my second one, so we're going to actually join the 2 flukes together to create the tail. So we're going to single crochet 9 stitches on the round 8 of the yarn attached fluke. So I'm going to crochet 9 more onto this one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Then we're going to single crochet in each stitch on round 8 of this one. So we're actually going to just continue here. This is not the easiest thing to figure out how to do exactly. Yeah. So we're going to start here. Reasons, and I've already done this once, you'd think I'd have it nailed down by now. So we're actually going to single crochet there, and then we're going to continue around. So you can see they're together by a single chain at this moment. And we're going to go all the way around, so that's 1, 2, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and then 18. Okay, so that's 18. So now we're going to continue in the rest of these stitches here in our other fluke. So we've got 9 more stitches to complete this round in the other fluke. So we're going to come over here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So that finishes off our round for both of our flukes. So now we've got the 2 flukes here. Alright, so now we're going to actually crochet in each stitch all the way around, which is 36 stitches, for 2 rows. So I am not going to show you that. It's just simple going all the way around twice, so for a total of 72 stitches. So that's 1, 2, 3, and I will come back in just a minute to finish off the tail and start the body. Okay, so I have now completed rows 10 and 11 with 36 chains in each round. So now we're going to start on round 12, and this is where we're going to decrease in here. So you're going to see it marked in the pattern as single crochet together, or SC the number 2 TOG. So how that stitch works is you actually go into the next chain, pull through, and then go into the next chain and pull through. So you've got 3 loops on your hook, and then pull through all 3. So as you can see, it looks like a single crochet, but it's joining those 2 bottom chains together, so you're making it smaller. So for round 12, we're going to stitch together and then single crochet in the next 4 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then stitch together, 4. Whew, miscounted. Okay, so stitch together and then do 4 single crochets in the next 4 stitches. Then we're going to do another stitch together, so that would be 6. No, that was right. Okay. Yeah. I'm going to go back and count. And I leave errors like this on here so you can see, yes, I make a lot of errors. So that's the stitch together, so 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah. And also so you can see how I go back and manage that. So I knew another stitch together, so this is actually stitch number 6, this stitch together. There we go, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then 10, and then we do another stitch together, which is 11, then 12, 13, 14, and 15. Then another stitch, hold on, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that should have been 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. No, that's 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay. I knew I was doing something wrong. Okay. 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. The last of the 4 stitches should always be a multiple of 5. So that's how I knew. I was like, wait a second, I miscounted there. So 21, 22, 23, 24, and 25. And this should be the last one. 26, 27, 28, 29, and 30. And that's it. So that is our entirety of our row 12. Now we're going to continue to decrease with rows 13, 14, and then we're going to do a single crochet in each stitch around for rows 15 and 16. So I'm going to go ahead and finish off the part of the tail, and then I will show you how to do the body. Alright, so now we have finished our tail and we're ready to move on to the body. But before we move on to the body, I just want to point out right here, you see how this has this nice big hole right here? We're going to take care of this real quick so that we don't have that hole anymore. So I have this right here from where I fastened off the fluke before, and I'm going to use my yarn needle thread that. And what we're going to do is we're actually going to just sew this together. So we're going to sew one end here, and then we're going to sew one in here, and pull that tight, and then we're going to pull just kind of, that's all that the pattern tells you to do, but I actually like the idea of maybe putting a little bit, just like another little stitch here to make sure that there's no hole where stuffing might come out. And so I'm just going to poke it through into the inside, and this way we're also doing it before we do any stuffing on the inside. Makes it easier to keep the knot nice and pretty and on the inside. here, because we're going to make a knot. So make it nice and tight on the stitches, and then we're going to pull this and knot it. And then we're going to cut it off and just leave it right there on the inside. It's all nice and pretty. All right. Now, also, before we move on to the body, to make it a little bit easier, we're going to stuff this tail a little bit. If we stuff it a little bit all throughout, it makes the stuffing process go way easier. So, there we go. One fluke, little end, a little misshapen on mine. Hopefully yours looks a little bit better. Feel free to please. I'd love to see your finished whales and any pictures you have in the process, so add that. Just go ahead and put those in the comments down below. I'd love to see those. Definitely, definitely, definitely. All right, so here is our tail, and we're going to go ahead and get started on the body now. All right, get that out of the way. And now I've got stuffing on my pattern, so there we go, getting that out of the way. All right, so our next thing is we're actually going to single crochet into the next 9 stitches for the beginning of our body. Now, I'm not going to do the whole body with you, but I will get started so you can get an idea of what we're going to do. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then 9. And then we're going to put 2 stitches in this next one. So 1, 2. All right, and then we're going to go ahead and do single crochet in the next 2 stitches. So 1, 2. And then we're going to do 2 single crochets in the next stitch again. So 1, 2, and then next 2, and then single crochet in the next 2 stitches. 1, 2, and then we're going to do that pattern one more time. So 2 single crochets in the next stitch. 1, 2, and then 2 single crochets in the next 2 stitches. Well, look, 1 single crochet in the next 2 stitches. 1, and then another. All right. Now we are going to move on to the next one. So we're going to single crochet in the next 9 stitches again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then we're going to single crochet in the next 2 single crochet in the next stitch. 1, 2, and then we're going to do a single crochet in the next 3 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to do that again, 2 single crochets. So 1, 2, and then we're going to do 3 single crochets in the next stitches. 1, 2, and then 3, and then we're going to do that pattern one more time with 2 single crochets. So 1, 2, and then we're going to do 1, 2, and 3. All right, so that is the end of row 18. So what you're going to do for the rest of the body up until round 34 is you're going to just crochet 9, and you're going to continue increasing by going 2 single 2 single crochets in 1 stitch, followed, like in row 19 it would be 4 stitches. In row 20 it'll be 5 stitches. In row, and you'll just keep doing that through row 33. So you'll end up doing with 69 stitches all the way around before you just continue doing that. And you'll crochet a single crochet in 69 stitches all the way around for 10 rounds, and then you'll start decreasing again. So basically, again, I'll do one more round with you, and it's going to be round 19, so that you get an idea of what I mean by the pattern. So we're going to crochet 9 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And then we're going to do 2 single crochets in the next stitch. And then we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4 single crochets. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then we'll do that pattern with the 2 single crochets in 1 stitch, and then followed by 4 stitches 2 more times. So 1, 2 in the next stitch, and then 1 single crochet in the next 4 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so that would be one more, and we'll finish this round. So 1, 2 in that next stitch, and then 1, 2, 3, and 4. And that finishes off round 19. Now, I will say counting during this stage is vital. I messed up. I managed to correct it, but my whale that I used looks a little wonky. So you can see he's a little bit lumpy here. He doesn't look exactly correct. I even didn't put his eyes in the right spot. So follow the instructions, make sure you count, make sure you put the eyes in the same row, unlike me, and the fins. So just follow what the pattern says. If you have any questions, please leave them below. I'll be more than happy to try and answer your questions. As you can see from this whale, I am really no expert, but I will try to do my best. All right, I hope you enjoy crocheting your M. Richard the Whale. And don't forget to stop by the library. We are now open to the public at a limited capacity. So if you are in the neighborhood of Spring Branch Memorial Library, stop by and pick up your kit while supplies last. And if you're not, please, I'd still love to see your finished M. Richard the Whale. Have a great day.